Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm on my boy Rocky. How you doing today, Rocky?
Doing good, man.
Man, I like this one. We're going to be talking about today, taxes. You know, a lot of people in 9 to 5, they dread talking about taxes, but me and you, we talk about it all the time.
I didn't like taxes either, man, but now I'm getting my deductions and stuff going, and I'm getting a little more back.
Right.
So I like looking at my numbers and like, oh man, I might owe this much, and after we do our taxes, I'm like, I don't owe that much. Shoot, matter of fact, I'm getting more money back.
Exactly. So and especially when tax professionals tell you, you know, how to go, you know, give you those hidden gems too.
Yeah.
How to go about it. So the topic today, mastering your taxes. How a tax professional can save time and money. And when it comes to taxes, to a person who works basically a 9 to 5 all the time, all they're doing is just working, looking at their check, how much taken out for tax. Well, not even looking at taxes because that's when they start crying.
Yeah.
But they look like what's the net, how much they're bringing home. But there's ways to this. Like we was talking about just before we got on. There's definitely levels to taxes. Mm-hmm. Definitely levels to taxes. The first one, so we're going to do 10 of them. On the how to master your taxes. The first one especially is the complex tax laws. That's why you have to hire a tax professional, because there's a lot of laws out there that we have no knowledge about that they do know, mm-hmm. but because that's their profession. And then, like I said, like they can help you with hidden gems, and none of it's top secret. Yeah, it's just like if you want to get the information, you got to know about it. You got to go to a reliable source that gives you that info for you.
Oh, 1,000%. Like we're talking about earlier, I've been doing my taxes. I did my taxes in the beginning by myself with, whatever online resources you have. You plug in your numbers and then boom, your taxes are done. And then I upgraded to like HR, Tax Liberty, those guys, the big ones. And then I did my taxes. And now this year, I'm actually went to a tax professional that not only does your taxes, but they actually look at all your income. They look at all your possible deductions and everything, any kind of credits you can get, and they put those numbers in exactly what you need to put them in your W-2 form or your business, anything like that, and they'll put together, and then that will be your actual real taxes that are taken out or taxes that you have to pay into. Because, man, not when I went to a tax professionalist, they're like, why aren't you claiming this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? I was like, you can claim that?
I remember you telling me that, because I was like, there's certain things. I was like, I think it's this too. It's like when I told you about certain things, like I know you believe me, but when she told you and you seen it for your eyes, you was like, you know what, Tony was right, but it's that assurance. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just an assurance. That's
100%.
It. Yeah. Because I've already done it, and then I've been shopping for one, and then next week I'm gonna be going to her too. So
So hopefully that works out, man.
Yeah. So I'm just like, there's so many. Like I started off with when I learned about it, and when I got my LLC, I have a couple books that talks about taxes, what you can write off, and like say if you're a landlord, what you can write off for your properties. And that's the one thing, like we're talking about here on the podcast right now, is that with the taxes, it's like if you have a W-2 job and you also have rental incomes, how can you go about, like offsetting the taxes? Mm-hmm. What's needed, like because when you own rental property, you get a right. The government looks highly nice to you when it comes to tax write-offs, tax deductions.
And like going back to this, the tax laws, like there's laws in place to where you can write so much off in your losses, and you write so much off in your deductions in your personal, like your W-2, and then even with your business. So together, knowing the law of how much you can write off and what forms you need to fill out to make it all legal. As a common person, you're not gonna know that.
No,
you're not gonna know that unless you like done it for a while. You read some books, or you started studying on your own. But that tax official going to someone that has been doing it, right? Been doing it forever. They're like, she straight looked at me like, "Why aren't you claiming this?" I was like, "I've never claimed that before." She's like, "Well, under law so and so for a W-2 person, you can claim this, but under law so and so, because you have a business and you have an EIN number, you can also claim that on your business. So you have." It counts as 2 deductions or one big one. She's like, "What do you want to do?" I looked at her, I was like, "Whatever you want to do to make me happy." Exactly. So her knowing the law, how to apply it to my personal taxes and my business taxes together, oh man, it saved me thousands. Yeah, saved me thousands. I'm a regular W-2 person with starting off with a fresh new LLC.
Yeah, and the thing about it is people have no idea too, because I have my share of watching podcasts. I watch the guys over at Think Media, and when it comes to because I do the podcast, the YouTube, social media, and even if it's a startup, that gets written off. It's a startup. LLC. If you incorporated LLC, mine has been around for 2 years. Yours is over a year, going into 2 years.
Yep.
The startup, you can write that off. The government allows it. That's the thing. The government allows it, and that's what a lot of people don't know. So you're gonna, and they view it this too. Your first year, your first 2 years, they say you're definitely going to take a loss.
Yep.
You're going to take a loss because you're using your own money. It's going to take a minute to establish business credit.
Yep.
For your business, and then get things rolling. Because that's where me and you were at right there.
Yeah, right there.
Exactly right there, right at the door. And number 2 would be deductions and credits. So identifying deductions and credits, which, like I said, a lot of people don't know about that. That's why you need to go to a tax professional, because they know exactly what you need to do. There's a lot of things that people have no idea that you can write off for taxes. I talked to my guy, Mike at Boundary Waters, and we was talking about like all the write-offs. Like he brought up brand new machines to help out with get the shirts and merchandising the shirts and everything. And he has a machine, like, granted, like he's going to lose one person, but it's big enough and it makes enough where he doesn't need a person there because of the machine. But it's, certain things, like that's an example used, but there's a lot of ways that you can use your business to write off. And if you don't know about it, that's why you need to hire a tax professional. Yeah. It may take a little bit of change, but let me tell you, overall, it's a great umbrella because they know the law, you don't know the law, and they're going to make sure that you're protected.
Yeah, and it does cost more to get a tax professionalist that will look through your stuff, a CPA, an EA. But if they cost more to do your taxes versus like when they TurboTax HR for like what, $100, $200, something like that, and you get it done. Yeah, you'll pay that money up front, and then you'll do your taxes and be done. But if you go somewhere, a tax professionalist, they're charging anywhere from like $250, $350, depending on how much it is, how much taxes they have to go through for you and file. But if they're saving you more than what you're paying them in deductions and knowing these credits like child tax credit, owning a business credit, owning a rental property, owning there's all kinds of stuff you own that you can get credit for. Even your home, for your income tax and stuff like that, your homeowners taxes and stuff.
Yes.
So all those little things that they can add, and then your deductions are gonna, like, for me, it quadrupled my deductions, and it helped me lower my taxable income. And now I almost fell into the lower tax bracket because I was able to deduct so much out. So next year I have to spend more in my business and stuff to get a lot more deductions, but I almost fell into a different tax bracket, and that lowering my tax bracket almost helped me get taxed a lot less. Mm-hmm. And just by hair.
You just need to take a couple of vacations. You would have
had it. So I could have. Oh yeah. But knowing what I know now, I'm saving all my receipts for everything.
Yeah.
And then just at the end of the year, add them all up and see if it work out. But you can't do that with an online or an HR or something like that. You just they sit there. You literally go into HR somewhere, and there's like 10 people in a cubicle, and you go to the next one that's open.
Just type it away.
They type in your income and a couple of things. Put your Social Security card or number in there, and then there you go. This is how much you're gonna get back, or this is how much you owe. They're not sitting down and knowing like, I do have a rental property. Is there any deductions or any write-offs I could do? I think so, maybe. But
I want a sure answer.
Some people are just they're almost lazy, or not lazy. That's probably not by good word.
That's that was how they were trained, just like that.
And they're just not like they have a job. You're a next person in line.
All the number.
Yeah.
All the number.
Because man, if you have a rental property and you don't take advantage of the annual deductions that you get, I think it's right. I think it's what 3.365% you can write off of your taxes on your rental property. I believe that's the number, and that's just automatically, no matter what, because you have that rental property and how much it's worth or whatever. So you can write that off. I think you write a rental property off for 25 years. 25 years you can depreciation.
Depreciation. You can do. There's so much. I actually have a list.
Yeah.
A list of that.
I was like, you can claim that depreciation for 25 years automatically just by having a rental property, and you're in the
flooring, the appliances.
Everything.
There's so much. And each one has a different statute of years of each one. And another thing that I'll say this too, and I remember I told you this one, and a lot of people I know don't know this, is when you go to a tax professional and you get your taxes done, whatever that amount is, how much you spent to get it done, you actually can use that as a write-off to tax deduction the next following year.
Exactly.
People have no idea
and
about
people
that.
don't know that.
No.
So people that don't know, if you have an LLC, you have to pay in California. You have to pay an annual fee to have an LLC. It's like $800 a month.
Yes, which is ridiculous. We're the highest in the United States.
And then when you have LLC, you have to go file it under an LLC. So you have to get a tax professionalist to help you do that, or you can do it yourself.
Yes.
But so they charge you a fee to do your W-2 and to do your LLC. But then so you have extra fee because you have an LLC to file. And then you have another $800 a year fee to have an LLC in California, so you have to pay for that. But if the tax person didn't know or almost didn't care, my tax lady was like, well, you have to pay out all now, but next year we'll just write that off. I'm like, come in.
Attention realtors. First impressions are so important for real estate sales. Having a clean logo with easy-to-read information can impress a buyer and potentially get you that sale. Here at Boundary Waters, we excel at first impressions. If you need a logo or lawn signs, give us a call. Our experience at signs and banners have been proven for over a decade. Give us a call, 530-221-2151. Again, that's 530-221-2151. Boundary Waters Screen Printing, home of the Surf Ninja. www.boundarywatersinc.com.
Yes.
So she's like, yeah, this is your business. So anything you have to do for your business, legal fees, which is obviously legal fees.
Yes.
She's like, you can write that off next year. So everything that I paid this year, I'm just going to use that to help write off next year, and then so on and so on. So like, I told my wife, she's like, well, how are we getting these write-offs? I'm like, it's money that we're spending no matter what already, but we're going to get it back in deductions.
Yes.
We're going to get it back in deductions. And like, it was hard for my wife to like, she's like, what do you mean? What deductions on it? Well, let's put it like this. We have a home right now we live in. My home office is in my home. We've lived in a home for 4 or 5 years now, and I wasn't able to write off anything.
Nothing at all.
Now that I have a home office in my home,
it changes.
I write off my home office square footage. a write-off a percentage of my electric bill, my gas bill,
Yes.
my solar bill,
Yes.
every internet bill,
Everything.
phone bill,
Yes.
all that.
Car insurance.
Car insurance. Everything we already had is now a write-off.
And if you go,
and we're saving hundreds of thousands this year.
And if you go like, even if you go into, even on business trips, seminars, or anything like that, you guys got to find out how much the amount is, but that gets written off too. Like, so like, you know, besides me being a real estate agent here in Shasta County, Monterey, and Orange County, like last year, I went a couple of times to Monterey. All that from, you know, it's a 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
All that's written off.
Yep.
The place I stayed at, because I had to stay the night, written off.
Yep.
Food, certain percentage written off.
And those are all just like, there's all just deductions that you wouldn't know, or deductions that you wouldn't know to write off if you didn't, if your tax person didn't know to write them off.
Exactly.
Because you could be doing all this stuff and you'll never know to write it off until you go to a tax professionalist and be like, oh, hey, you can write this off. And you can research and stuff like that. But if the person that's doing your taxes already knows it and you tell them, oh, I have this as well, they're already triggered in their head. Okay, well, you have a home office. So are you going to write off square footage? Are you going to do are you going to do percentage, or what are you going to do? And you're thinking, well, home office square footage, what percentage, what? And they should already know. A good tax specialist should already know how to calculate this. What is the price per square footage? They should all know. Those are little things that a common person wouldn't know. No. I know you can write off a home office, but how much is it per square foot?
Yeah, exactly.
What is it? Yeah. Is it 3 now? Is it 5? I don't know. But that tax person should be like, it's 5.
Yes.
It's always 5 or whatever, you know.
But they know off the top of their head. Like
that's when you know, like, oh, it's a good one. They know already.
Even when I show homes, or I have to meet someone to look at a house, or help, you know, anything with real estate, and like the miles, like it went up last year. I think it's like 65, I believe, something like that. But those calculations, like all those calculations, like they know. Yeah, they should. You're not gonna get at your H&R Block. You're not gonna end up to your mom. Like these people, there's a reason why they're called a professional.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, HR gonna Google it. I think you can. Exactly. I think you can do this. I was like, no, I don't want to think, man. It's IRS, man.
If they give me that vibe where they're not sure, then it's time to move on.
Yeah.
That's what you need. Yeah.
For sure. Because there's different levels. There's definitely, like I said, there's different levels. When I first did my taxes, when I was working like, you know, Walmart or something like that, and then as I was making more money, I got to H&R, and then I went H&R to now a tax professionalist. Like, more.
There's levels, and you're moving up. All right, the next one would be number 3, time saving, which is great because, like we were talking about before, average person doesn't know how the deductions and the credits work. Being with a tax professional, they can manage your time precisely like they're handling yours. I meet with her on, next week. They know how to save valuable time for business and job responsibilities, and then you keep on going to them. Then you have a rapport with them. And then within y'all have a bond with each other, like, okay, I'll see you next year. Or, like say if you have a question, like, how do I go about, it could be, in the mid part of the year. Am I able to do this, able to do that? If they're really good, they're going to help you to the best of their ability.
For sure. Yeah, because I had when I came to my tax professionalist, I put my paperwork down. I had receipts. I had printouts of my PhD, all these printouts, and I tried to organize as well as I possibly could, but it was a stack of stuff, right? Of numbers, and I didn't have to organize it, but she was like, just leave it here. She literally was like, I had a huge folder. She's like, just leave it here. I'll go through it and I'll run through the numbers and I'll see what I can get you as far as your deduction stuff go. I'm like, thank you, my friend, because it was a time saver. Organize it to where she can go through it easier, but she was able to run the numbers. So I kind of added all the numbers up and I did all this stuff and I kind of circled it. And she's like, I'll go through it again and make sure it's good. I'm like, oh my God, that's what I pay you for, because it's the IRS, man. They gonna get you for that penny.
Yeah,
right? They gonna get you for everything. And if numbers off, you don't want to get audited, you don't want to get in trouble, you want to, pay a fee or something like that. So the fact that she's able to go through all that stuff and make it easier for me, save me time, money, energy, headache. I was like, I'll pay you what you need. Exactly.
And see, you did the old school way, which there's nothing wrong because you didn't know. Yeah, because basically, you can get an automized sheet online, and you can break everything down because that's how I go about doing it. That's when I meet her, I'll show her everything, everything. But it breaks it down. It breaks it down to, if you paid for your glasses, extra medical coverage, like you said, all your utilities, advertisements, merchandising, equipment, it breaks everything down for you. You add your numbers up, you put them in those slots. And when you put them in those slots, now you have a better, for the tax professional, it even makes their job is difficult in a lot of ways because they got to get all the numbers. But you're actually helping them out more because you've already calculated everything in each category, and they can run off the numbers by that. Which brings us to the next one. It says audit protection, ensuring audit protection, and then the role of tax professional in providing accuracy support during IRS audits. So they'll make sure everything is consistent so you don't get audited.
Yep. You don't want to get red flag.
Exactly.
You don't want to get audited, especially you starting off.
Exactly.
Your business.
And I've always been to the point where when I do all my calculations, when I take it to her, like I always put on my automized form that I have all these receipts.
Yep.
Like if anything happens, all right, what year you need? There you go. Have a great day.
Yeah. And I think it's good to say too that like they're there to run the numbers you give them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna protect you for what they did for you. But if you're going in there and you don't have receipts for things, you're making things up, and you're not able to prove a trip or something like that, you're not only putting yourself in a risk, but you're putting your tax person. They gotta go through that now. They gotta be like, oh man, Rocky lied to me. He said he did this much knowledge or whatever. If you have your receipts and everything, we talk to this all the time. We don't start this business stuff off. Just do it right.
Exactly.
There's no shadiness. Just do it right, the legal way.
And it's going to take time, but you don't want nothing to go fast. You take your time because the better you at and you take your time at it, the more consistent and more credible everything is.
Yeah, your credit. Yeah, the credit. Your credit's on point. Your personal credit, your everything, your credibility with other people, with friends and family, and hopefully with other business partners and stuff. You don't ever want to show an audit on your business for not able to prove it or anything like that.
Exactly.
And having a tax professionalist, so you go through the numbers, you kind of organize your numbers together on an itemized spreadsheet. You get to them. That's like your first audit. And then the other one is like your tax professional is going to run through those numbers for you, and that's like another audit. So like you're kind of auditing yourself, making sure you're doing it right, and then your tax professional is doing it before they submit it to the IRS. And just having that extra person do it saves you that headache. Hopefully you don't have to ever go through that.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah, and number 5. Strategic planning. Yeah, and we was talking about this earlier because you're planning for the future, and then that's when, because like we're in investing, that's where they help out a whole lot too.
Yep.
When it comes to, say, if you want to get a single family home or 2-plex, 3-plex, 4-plex, multifamily, you can discuss with them. Okay, what's going to be the tax benefits for this, and what things do I need to what's going to help me to use as deductions with taxes. They might not know all of it when it comes to real estate, but it's good to have someone that does.
Yeah.
And a good way to do that is go to a real estate agent that has properties.
Yeah.
Because they'll have a tax person, a tax professional, a professional person that prepares taxes on how things is done.
Yeah.
Which is going to help you in the long run. Because like you said, you don't want an audit.
And it's definitely, it's whoever it really helps out too. Because that's how I found my tax person. Because we found, my wife was talking to someone that had an LLC in their own business, and she asked them, "Oh, my husband's going to start an LLC, but he doesn't know who to go to." And she's like, oh, she go to my lady. So through my wife, I went to this lady. I found her, I talked to her, we did my taxes, it went out great. And now I'm like, awesome. And then you're like, hey, I'm looking for someone too. I'm like, hey, I just went to here, check her out. If you like her, go with, it's like who you know. If you can find someone that's already in the business, like a real estate, someone in real estate already, and then you can tell them, hey, what do you do? How do you go about it? And like they can show you the ways and how they plan, how they strategically plan, like, how they're doing their taxes and what kind of forms they're filling out, and go from LLC to S corp and all that stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
There's different benefits of different tax filing, because depending on how you file your taxes, you might get a huge break on like deductions, and especially you start really coming into money. Like really coming in hundreds of thousands of dollars, one day, right? You can switch your tax filing strategies, and you won't know that until you run the numbers. And to run the numbers correctly and safely without getting audited, that tax professional is going to do that for you.
Yeah, I moved on too fast because that was number 6: real estate expertise, leveraging real estate expertise. The guidance of depreciation, rental income reporting, and other real estate specific tax considerations. That's huge because there's so much out there. That's the thing about it. There is so much out there. That is why the wealthy, 90% they said that the wealthy have real estate.
Yeah.
And then that's the reason why they don't pay taxes. Yeah. Because they use the real estate so much leverage for it. Because, hey, it's not us, it's the government that structured this.
Yeah. It's crazy. If you have a tax professionalist, or anyone that deals with the law, right? The IRS, the government, anything like that, it's always good to have them in your corner, because you're talking about, these millionaires, billionaires, who they have. They all have a great tax person. They all have a great lawyer to deal with also. Those two, every millionaire, you look them up, they all have a great tax person and a great lawyer to deal with all their different kind of lawyers too, right? For divorce and all those stuff. But there's a space for that, for having those two in your life for sure. If you get to that level, a lawyer. But like a tax person, everyone, if you're doing taxes every year, you need someone.
Yes.
You need someone.
Because you might be losing out on a lot of money.
A lot of money. I remember way back when you have to buy new boots for work or new scrubs or something like that. It was you always feel say, oh, you can write it off,
Mm-hmm.
right? I remember I took my receipts for my scrubs. It was only maybe $200-$300 for the whole year. I took it to I'm pretty sure it was HR or something like that, HR block, whatever. And I was like, oh, I got this much in receipts. They're like, oh, well, it needs to be. They're saying it needs to be over $500 or whatever to even file it, and then and to even get that deduction or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, well, all right, whatever. And that was that. Little did I know, it was just another form they had to fill out, and it took longer, but they didn't want to do it, or maybe they didn't know how to do it. But it's like those little things. You telling me that I just brought in my scrubs, and I could have written it off if I had more deductions, which I could have. I had the skill, had shoes, had safety goggles, things like that. If I could have brought all that in, then I would have been able to write it off more write-offs. But the fact they're like, oh, you can't because it's not enough. It's like, okay, it was done. Now I'm over here bringing receipts, like legit receipts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about thousands of dollars in PG bills and stuff like that, and they're looking at my tax lady looking at me like, yeah, let me see what we can do.
And the thing about it is even with what you just said about your scrubs and your stethoscope and everything, those are write-offs. You have a license, so whatever you buy, you actually, that's to keep your license, you have to buy this.
Yes. Yep.
To do your scope of practice.
Yep. Yeah, and it's crazy because they didn't know, or maybe they didn't want to know, or they're just lazy.
That's true.
Because what I learned from my tax lady, she was like, the more paperwork we have to file, I have to charge more because it does take more work and time. And I totally get it because my wife, your wife too, right? she is a notary, right?
Yes.
So every single signature you write down, she gets paid for. So
Yes.
I totally get why. Hey, I have to do another form. That's more money. I got to do another form for LLC. That's more money. I have to do another form for this. I'm like, oh, I get it. It sucks. You got to pay more for another piece of paper that you literally just writing out. But I get it.
Yeah. Exactly. And then we was talking about this earlier. Number 7, business structure advice.
Mm-hmm.
Choosing the right business structure. So you have your LLC, you have your S corp. You can keep on going and going and going, but it's what benefits you best for your business. So we was talking about the LLC, and then we was talking about the S corp, and the pros and cons. It's best to have an S corp, but do you need the S corp at
the right time?
At the right time.
Yeah.
That's what's needed.
Yeah.
And that's where the tax professional helps out the most.
Mm-hmm.
As to what your business structure should be at the time.
Yeah.
It's going to be an LLC starting off, but it can keep on going up further and further.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. CPA and in the EA, they're both able to run the numbers, and they're not technically going to tell you what you should do, but they're going to be like, hey, you could do this and this and this, and these are the benefits. So, because you don't want, they're not there to run your business. They're there to run the numbers for you and do your taxes. But if they know, if they're a good tax prepper and they can prep your stuff and know what the options are, and say, oh, I want to run it this way, and you get like $1,000 in deduction. It's like, well, if you run it this way and you add these up, we can actually get you $5,000 deduction, but you have to do your taxes this style, this way, and then having that option right then and there,
mm-hmm.
you're able to like, oh man, like thank you for telling me that. Now maybe I should do it, and then you have to go do your research and stuff to see if that's best for you and your business, your company.
Yes.
But the fact that they knew that and they're able to look at those numbers and give you that option is like, that right there could literally just change your entire business structure.
Yeah.
Right then and there, because well, you can do this, you make a lot more money, you can save a lot more of this, and that right there is worth it.
It is worth it. Right. And no matter what the price is, like mm-hmm. And that's what brings number 8, compliance assurance, staying compliant with the tax laws, mm-hmm. the importance of ongoing compliance to avoid penalties and legal issues. Yeah, because I thank God that you found a good one, because I've been searching and searching like crazy. Because I wasn't going to go to an H&R Block, because the thing about it is there's nothing wrong with H&R Block, but when you deal with business, when you deal with a business structure, when you deal with rental properties, that's a whole nother level. That's a whole nother ball game. Yeah. And people who work for the TurboTax and the H&R Blocks, they're just basically they're more structured for that 9-to-5 person.
Yes.
They just have one job.
That's what it's set up for.
Basically the 9-to-5 person, not the 9-to-5 to 5 to 9 person.
Yeah. There's a lot more to that. And it's like you say, it's not that they're bad. It's just they're just not set up for people that have extra stuff coming in.
Exactly. And it deals with, I think more than it deals with volume.
Yeah.
It deals with volume with how much, all right, you got to do this person, this person.
Because they can do it. Like they have all the forms there. But if you're sitting there, you as a regular tax person, 9-to-5er, you don't know all these extra forms. I remember I did my taxes. Say, oh yeah, now we got to open up got to file 822, and then your 1040 is going to be affected, and you have to do a K file now, and all this stuff. I'm like, what's the K? What's the 820? What's all this?
What's all these?
I don't know what none of these are. And she's like, well, we can do an LLC to an S corp to a C corp, and then you probably not, because you have to do a Schedule C or the. What are you talking about?
Speaking foreign.
It's foreign, but I knew enough to know like that's part of your corporation. That's different. I'm gonna tax less on this, on that. I knew enough to be like, no, but man, if you don't know that lingo, it's a whole different world.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then number 9, maximizing retirement contributions. So the retirement planning contributions, which is we were talking about earlier about the 401k or 403 and the IRA. Like that helps out a whole lot as to how you want stuff structured. I know some people who do have rentals, and then whatever money that they have, they use a certain part to go into an IRA fund, which is better than a 401 or 403, because that's a whole nother topic.
That's all on topic, yeah. But it's all maximizing retirement contributions. It all depends on how your strategy is going to work for you on the long run. At the end of the day, people want their 401k. They still believe in that. They still believe in putting money in their IRA and investing in like index funds or whatever company that's, was it VL is a good one, or like a bunch of these different companies you can invest in. And if this works for you, if you have the energy and time, if you don't have the energy and time, and this is what you want to do, some very passive way to just hopefully build your investments for retirement and stuff like that, and that's fine for you. But I want to go doing it real estate. I feel like is a very it could be passive, but in the beginning, it's very active.
Yes.
So you gotta do your research. You gotta go see the properties and stuff. For the beginner, I watch a lot of podcasts where these professional real estate investors are like, I don't even see the property.
Yeah.
I don't see the property. I see the numbers. They work out. I buy it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sight unseen. Some of them live in one state and they have properties in another state.
Yeah, and I've never seen the property. Just buy it.
There's one gentleman, I listened to him pretty regularly. Yeah. He bought several properties in other states, but he never seen them, but the numbers were right.
Yep.
And he had the right management team and everything. And everything worked out for him. And he's still going full throttle, full strong right now.
Yeah. He's taking all his money out and just investing in it, and having he's actively investing his money, and his return might be good, might not be bad, might be bad, but he's risking it on his own skin, right?
Yeah.
And versus someone that's paying into the IRA or a 401k, you're actually investing it too, but you think your risk is a lot less lower because you think this 401 is safe and everything. When you see the economy in 2008, right? As one friend, she's getting ready to retire. She had like $1 million in 401k. And she lost, I think she went from $1 million to $700 and something dollars. When the stock market stuff crashed, and she was like, I don't think I can retire anytime soon now. I was like, what? So that's crazy. I mean, like, same thing with the house. So you can buy a house, and the numbers work out, and then let's say the plumbing goes bad. They got to do the whole plumbing in the house. But everything's a risk. But like, it depends on how if it works out for you, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, go for it. But depends on your strategy, your plan, your goal, the person you are.
Yeah.
Because I'm shoot. I tell you today, man, my house worth quite a bit now. I'll sell today.
Yeah, right.
Buy some rental properties.
And that's another thing, and not such off topic, but when me and Marcus when we talk and everything, and that's another thing we're talking about with the wealthy. The wealthy really don't buy a house. They rent out a house, but they do buy rentals.
Yep.
And and it's like just a conglomerate. It's just everything. As long as you got a good tax professionalist, man, the sky's the limit, because they can show you so many different ways that the average person can't.
1,000%.
And number 10, peace of mind. Oh, this might be the most important one right here. Yeah. Peace of mind that you can sleep at night.
Yeah.
And you can get all these deductions, and because a lot of people have no knowledge. I'm still learning. I'm still learning a lot. I'm not a tax professional by no means, but I have some good books that show you like what you can write off and everything. And then I'm glad you went with the tax lady that you had all your receipts. And like, no, you don't need all those. Just write them down in this itemized form.
Yep.
And you go about it that way, and then she'll do the numbers and she'll make sure that everything is good to go. Oh man, I mean, peace of mind, knowing that you can sleep at night and that the IRS is not gonna mess with you.
Yep.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
Yeah, and as a person with a new LLC, and it's kind of weird when you're like, oh, I'm gonna write this computer off. I'm gonna write my square footage of my house off. It feels weird because it's like, what?
It does.
I'm like, you can do that? You can write it off and lower your taxable income? Like what? It feels weird. But like you said earlier, like it's that confirmation when the tax professionalist that's been doing it for years, she looks at you and she doesn't even hesitate. She's like, yeah, we can write that off. Like, yeah. If anything, she'd be like, why aren't you writing it off?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, oh man, it made me feel so good that I found someone who's like, yeah, we can write that off. Matter of fact, you can even write off more if you itemize your stuff versus you just taking the standard deduction of your square footage. She's like, we can actually write off more. She's like, so I was like, I told her it's my first time doing my taxes with my LLC. Let's just do the standard deduction. So and just get it done. And she's like, no, hold on. You got all the numbers here, all receipts. Let me run the numbers and see if it works better if we itemize it. And she did it. And she said, like, two days later, she emailed me saying it's done. And we're going to save you like $2,000 more now because we did that this way. I told you. I'm like,
see,
the stress of doing my taxes with a new business and the stress of like deductions and stuff like that. It just lifted off my shoulders. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
I also think of it this way, especially when it comes to peace of mind, and you and I can relate to. It also deals with like your background. So like our parents worked a 9 to 5. My parents, back in the day, owned their own janitorial business, but I was younger and I didn't know like the taxes and this and that and everything. But I also think it also deals with your background, like. What's the motto? Yeah, you go to school, go through elementary school, junior high school, go to college, or look for a good job, work to death for a 9 to 5, and that's it. And that's like how like sometimes a lot of us are wired that way.
Yeah.
So but then when you step out and you find out, hold on, there's different ways. Like, how are these people wealthy? Well, they're not wealthy by chance. Mm-hmm. There had to be some type of structure. Like the Rockefeller family, the Vanderbilts. Like, there is a certain type of structure, how they went about making a name for themselves to this very day in 2024. Mm-hmm. Like, their ways are still being used to this very day.
Yep.
So I think also, too, is like with our background also, it changes and everything. And like with I said in the earlier podcast with my daughter, I'm going to teach her a lot about the real estate game because it's actually really, really beautiful, but it takes time.
Yeah.
There's going to be I know me and you, we're going to probably work on some deals, but there's going to be the majority of times we're going to be saying, nope, this don't work. But then I was watching one podcast a couple of days ago, and the guy said that he went through 500 different properties.
Oh, I believe it.
But the numbers didn't add up, and they were only able to choose about 5.
I believe it.
Because there's going to be a lot of no's, but there's only going to be a couple of yeses.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Looking at 2023, like that. Shoot, I don't know, we made 60, 80 homes, and you go there. You look at, maybe MLS, Zulu, or whatever, to find these homes, or even driving around your neighborhood or your town or whatever. Oh, that house is for sale. Then you're looking it up. It's not on Zulu. It's not on MLS. Like, it's probably like foreclosed or something like that. So who knows if it's on market yet? And you're looking it up. You're looking out. Like, looks good location, everything. But the numbers don't work out. So I'll move on to the next. Move on to the next. And I've done that so many times. So you can look at hundreds of homes and be like, no, that's not the one.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
But you can claim all those mileage on your taxes. Every single one.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah.
All right. So the 10 steps, the 10 topics of mastering your taxes, how a professional can help save you, a tax professional can save you time and money. 1, complex tax laws. 2, deductions and credits. 3, time saving. 4, audit protection. 5, strategic planning. 6, real estate expertise. 7, business structure advice. 8, compliance assurance. 9, maximizing retirement contributions. 10, and this is not the last, but it could be the first, peace of mind. So you can sleep at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, that's another episode of the Professional Real Estate Investing Podcast with my boy Rocky. Y'all have a great day. Peace.
Peace.